Thank you for joining us tonight. This is the public information meeting for state project number 0011-0165. It, the project is the replacement of the computerized traffic signal system along routes 187 and 218 in the towns of Bloomfield and Windsor. This project is also part of Connecticut DOT's Greater Hartford Mobility Program. My name is John Lockaby, and I am a transportation supervising engineer within the Division of Traffic Engineering. And my email is listed below on the first slide if you have any questions. First of all, for captions and subtitles and zooms, you'll click Show Captions on the bottom of your screen. You will select speaking language, and then you would select which language you would like from the list. Closed captioning, including non-English translation options, are available on YouTube after the event. A quick meeting overview. I have a few housekeeping slides. Then I will introduce the project team. We will talk about the purpose of this meeting. We'll talk about the project overview, the scope of the project, and the schedule. We'll talk about the types of coordination that we've already undergone for this project. Then we'll talk about rights-of-way impacts, the project's cost and schedule, and then the next steps after this meeting. There will be a question and answer session after the presentation part part of this meeting. And there are three different ways to submit questions during this live Zoom broadcast. One is by sending me an email at john.lockaby@ct.gov. The next is by phone number 860-594-2020. When you're leaving a voicemail, please reference the project number 0011-0165, and also on the Zoom Q&A, which I will explain on the next slide. Our project webpage is https://portal.ct.gov/project 0011-0165. Note our official comment period is open through June 2nd, 2026. But the Q&A is only available during this live portion right now. The Zoom Q&A tool. One, select the Q&A tool at the bottom of the Zoom webinar window. The window will open as shown on this slide. Please type question in the text box and click enter. If you are an audio only participant, dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. Uh, This slide is the Title VI Civil Rights slide and explains that no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. We have a post-meeting survey that is shown at the QR code right there or at the link portal.ct.gov/ctdot survey. Um, it's also been posted in our chat on this live session. Um, and more civil rights information is at that link shown there. Like I said, the recording of this presentation will be posted to our YouTube channel after the event, and the closed captioning is available for non-English translation options. This slide has a little bit more detail on our Title VI notice to the public. For information on CTDOT Civil Rights Program and procedures to file a complaint, please visit CTDOT Title VI Coordinator at 860-594-2169 TRS 711 or deborah.goss@ct.gov. And here is the same slide in Spanish. With that, I will introduce the project team. First of all, we have Matt Bloom, who's the Division Chief of Traffic Engineering at Connecticut DOT. Lisa Conroy is the Principal Engineer of the Traffic Signals Unit within Division of Traffic Engineering. Uh, I am the project manager for this project. Also with us from Connecticut DOT, we have Jack Carlson representing the Division of Rights of Way. For our consultant team, we have David Tompkins, who is the project manager for SLR International Corporation. Also, Thomas Daly from GFT, and representing Connecticut DOT as our consultant liaison engineer is Jennifer Babowitz from Fuss and O'Neill. With that, I will hand it over to David Tompkins to go into the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, John. Um, the purpose of this meeting is our agenda here is going to be to provide a project overview and a status, and then we will look to obtain public input and respond to any questions asked during this meeting, and any questions that are asked afterwards will be responded to in writing. The project overview, we are under this project replacing 10 traffic control signals in Bloomfield and Windsor, and they are 8 full replacement and 2 partial replacement. The partials are located at Route 187 and Wall Street and Inglewood Avenue, and the second one at the intersection of Route 187 and Route 218. The purpose of this project is to replace the older infrastructure, which is more expensive and difficult to maintain. So when we're done here, the traffic signals will all be in good condition, new, and much easier to keep in a state of good repair. We are also going to make improvements to improve the efficiency of the travel in this area and also to make some safety improvements at these intersections. We're going to include much more push buttons and signals for pedestrians to cross at these intersections. We're going to look into flashing left turn yellow arrow signals, and we're going to upgrade providing new detection and the connection between the intersections, the fiber optic communications. We're also going to coordinate with the needs of the transit stops in the area, make sure that the sidewalks are there and in good condition, and then increase some illumination levels at the crosswalks and the transit stops. So the new equipment will mostly be mast arms, as you see in this bottom center picture, the support there, and they will be over the roadway. They'll be rigid. It's better for the detection equipment to be rigid there over the roadway. Works better. And we're also going to look at the signal heads, considering the left turn flashing arrow signal heads were appropriate, and adding pedestrian countdown signals and replacing all the hardware, the equipment that runs these traffic lights. We're going to coordinate with the town, the emergency preemption needs that they feel are necessary at these intersections as well. For the pedestrians, are going to upgrade to have new sidewalk ramps and sidewalk connections to the equipment as needed here. New push buttons and signal heads with countdown signal timings for the clearance phase. The vehicle movements that are going to be concurrent with the pedestrian movements, that's another change. Instead of having the pedestrians go when all traffic is stopped, we're going to move to the current standard, which is concurrent pedestrian phasing, where the traffic going north, for example, northbound and southbound is going, and then the pedestrians can cross northbound and southbound at the same time. And to support this concurrent pedestrian phasing, there's going to be new signs. As you see there, the no turn on red and the turning vehicles yield to pedestrians that are going to be blank normally, and then when a pedestrian phase is called, they're going to have that indication displayed to warn motorists of the pedestrians crossing. And I'd like to turn it over to Tom Daly to talk more about the technology here for the detection.
Great. Thank you, David. So as part of the project, we'll be providing some traffic signal operation improvements. These will include 360-degree bell cameras that are used for stop bar detection for all the approaches to detect the presence of vehicles waiting at the stop bar as a trigger to switch the cycle from red to green. Additionally, radar detectors will be introduced for advanced detection of approaching vehicles along routes 187 and 218. These detect vehicles several hundred feet in advance of the intersection and extend the signal green time to allow the approaching vehicles time to clear the intersection. Slide. So to help improve corridor improvement and performance and mobility, fiber optic communications will be installed to replace the existing copper wire system. The fiber optic cable will run the entire length of the project corridors and connect to each of the traffic signals, allowing for communications and coordination between intersections. A master signal controller will include a wireless cellular system that communicates to the DOT operations center. This will allow for more reliable communications and improves the DOT's ability to respond to the operational issues and respond to traffic incidents along the corridor. And with that, I'll turn it back to David.
Thank you, Tom. So now I'm going to look at we're going to look at the individual intersections. Starting here, the northernmost intersection, Route 187 at Park Avenue, intersection 11-214 in Bloomfield. It is a fairly well-traveled Y intersection here. You can see from the pictures on the left, view looking south at the intersection, and then the second lower picture is looking north on Route 187 at this intersection. And the aerial view, you can see there's a barber shop in the corner and an auto supply store across the street. It currently has two crosswalks, and these are the pedestrian phase where all traffic is stopped and then the pedestrians go. And this will be upgraded to the new concurrent phasing to increase the operations and efficiency and safety here. So we're going to include three crosswalks with replaced sidewalks at the corners to make the sidewalks ADA compliant. And we're going to use the mast arm signal supports this intersection. There will be a small area of right-of-way acquisition for the installation of these mast arms. And the signal heads are going to all be on the mast arm supports. Next intersection. Okay, so for the second intersection here, this one is not a complete replacement. This is an upgrade to the current equipment. We're going to, again, upgrade the pedestrian accommodations, replacing all the sidewalks to make the crosswalks more perpendicular rather than being at the exact corner of the intersection. They're going to be pulled back a little bit to make the crossings more perpendicular, easier, separate the two directions of the crosswalks. And the signals are all going to be replaced, and they're going to be on the same equipment. The same span poles are going to be kept for this intersection. There will be a small area of right-of-way acquisition that's needed for the pedestrian push buttons that are being added here. And there will be crosswalks on all four legs of this intersection. Okay, this is the second intersection that will only be an upgrade, not a complete replacement. And the upgrades will include new sidewalks, replacement of the existing to make them ADA compliant, to make the ramps more perpendicular, and to make the sidewalk surfaces smoother and ADA compliant. And the signal heads will all be replaced. The signal heads will be, possibly what's there now, or might look into some flashing yellow arrow options. You can see where the sidewalk's being expanded a little bit with a darker orange color. And the phasing is going to change for the pedestrians so that it'll be concurrent phasing rather than the when all traffic stopped, this is to increase the efficiency here so that traffic will flow much better at this intersection after the changeover from the exclusive to the concurrent pedestrian phasing. And the third intersection here is a complete replacement of Route 218 at Packard Street in Bloomfield. Currently, there are no pedestrian signal heads at this intersection, and that's going to be added along with sidewalk areas to reach the pedestrian push buttons. The signal heads will be installed on mast arm signal supports, and there'll be concurrent pedestrian phasing here. Okay, this is Route 218 at Columbia Road in the commuter lot driveway. As you can see from the pictures, this is a fairly large intersection, and layout is there's a lot of lanes for this one. It's a larger intersection. The signal supports will be on mast arms. The signal heads will be on the mast arms, and there are currently no pedestrian signal heads here, so those will be added, and the painted crosswalks will be added on all four legs with sidewalks to connect to the push buttons. Okay. Here, this is the intersection of Route 218 at the I-291 ramps. The signal equipment here will be replaced new, and pedestrians will be added to the signal phasing to have concurrent pedestrian phasing. So pedestrian push buttons and signal heads will be added here, and the new crosswalk areas will be added to go along with this. There'll be two crosswalks painted at this intersection. Okay, the intersection of Route 218 at Mattionic Avenue in Windsor. The views on the left, you can see you're looking from the northern side of the intersection south, and looking from the 218 main road looking west at this intersection. It is right at a bridge over the I-291 ramps. We will be upgrading the pedestrian accommodations here. There will be pedestrian signal heads and push buttons added, and the signal heads and mast arms will all be installed new here. Here is the I-91 southbound ramps at Route 218. There are currently some pedestrian crosswalk ramps here, but the phasing was kept exclusive pedestrian phase. So we are going to upgrade this to the concurrent pedestrian phasing and add sidewalks connecting into the sidewalk on the bridge over I-91 southbound. And we'll be adding a third crosswalk and moving another one at this intersection. This is the intersection of Route 218 at the I-91 HOV ramps. The best, 30% design. This is all still in progress. We're looking at putting a span pole, a span wire at this intersection for constructability purposes, and we're going to replace sections of the existing sidewalk to upgrade for ADA accessibility. The intersection will also have crosswalks painted, and signal heads will be all new on the new span pole and span wires. And the last signal here is the intersection of I-91 northbound ramps at Route 218, where we will be upgrading the pedestrian accommodations to include signal heads and push buttons, and adding a little section of sidewalk on the southeast corner to connect them. The signal heads will all be on new mast arm supports. Okay, so So far, the project coordination has included a meeting with the town, and the town notification letter was sent out March 13th. Today is the virtual public information meeting, and we will have field meetings with the town representatives from Bloomfield and Windsor. And likewise, we'll meet with the utility companies to coordinate what needs to be done to install these signals at in the field and in the office. And now I'll turn it over to Jack Carlson with the for the right away.
Thank you, David. Good evening. My name is Jack Carlson, and I'm a project coordinator with the Department's Division of Rights of Way. Our office is responsible for acquiring the property rights needed for transportation projects. As mentioned in the presentation, this project will require the acquisition of property rights. So I'd like to give a brief overview of our acquisition process. Any required property rights will be acquired in accordance with Connecticut General Statutes Section 13A73 and 13A98E, as well as the Federal Uniform Act. Additionally, the specific right-of-way impacts are still being finalized and may change as the project design progresses. Next slide. The right-of-way acquisition process begins once the project design has progressed to a development milestone and all the impacts have been determined. At this point, each affected property owner will receive from our office a formal letter of intent to acquire, or what we call our initial letter, along with a property map, which will depict the specific property rights that are being acquired. Next, our office will determine the fair market value of those property rights, which will be used to establish an offer of just compensation. That offer will be sent out to the property owner in writing, and a rights-of-way agent will be available to meet with the property owner to explain the project, go over the specific impacts to their property, and explain the department's offer. The property owner will then have a reasonable amount of time to consider the department's offer and enter negotiations. When an agreement is reached, the department will then prepare all of the necessary paperwork to record the deed and property map on the town land records. However, if an agreement is not able to be reached, in order to keep the project on schedule, the department will acquire the necessary property rights through its power of eminent domain. In that event, the state files a notice of condemnation in the Superior Court along with a monetary deposit in the amount of the department's initial offer. The affected property owner would then have 6 months from that date to file an appeal if they felt the department's offer was inadequate. Whether or not the property owner chooses to appeal, the money deposited in the court is available to be withdrawn by the owner. It's important to note the department only acquires property rights that are needed for the project. If there are any questions regarding the right-of-way acquisition process, I can answer them after the presentation. And with that, I'll hand it back to David. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. This project will be changing. For the cost, it was 100% state funding, and that'll be changing to 80% federal funding and 20% state. Right now, the budget is set at 10 million. It might come in at slightly lower than that. We're still in preliminary design phase, so we'll have to adjust that as the design goes on. We are going into the semifinal design phase of this project, and the project will be completed in June of 2027. The design of the project will be completed in June of 2027. It will be advertised in September of 2027 with an expected construction start in the spring of 2028. So for now, the next steps are to advance the design. We will incorporate the comments and the feedback we receive from the public, and we'll continue to advance the design further and identifying any right-of-way needs, coordinating with any public transit or any utility companies that need to be coordinated with. And I think I'll turn it back over to John.
Great. Thank you, David, Tom, and Jack, for the presentation on the project. With that, we will go into our formal Q&A session during our live Zoom meeting. There are 3 different ways to submit questions to the design team. One is by email, john.lockkaby@ct.gov. Or you can send us a voicemail by calling 860-594-2020. You can also use the Zoom Q&A feature on the bottom of the Zoom window. Um, our project webpage is portal.ct.gov/project 0011-0165. Um, and our comment period is open through June 2nd, 2026. That's the minimum comment period, but we will accept questions at any point during the project process. Do we have any questions so far?
So we have one question for the designer. How long is construction expected to last?
The construction of this project is expected to take 18 months.
It is dependent on the project funding, the acquisition of permits, and also the acquisition of rights of way rights.
No other questions in the chat at this
Okay.
point.
All right. We'll give it a few minutes. Um, Again, if you leave us a voicemail, it's 860-594-2020. And if you could just reference the project number 11-165, that would help us call you back and address your concern. Um, again, our comment period is open through June 2nd, 2026. But if you have any questions or follow-up, um, we will be coordinating with the town throughout the project phase and into construction. So we rely on the town quite a bit, but also we accept comments through these three means at any time. Um, Again, my email is john.lockAby@ct.gov, and the phone number is 860-594-2020. Jen, are you seeing any other questions in the Q&A?
Nothing in the Q&A.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll give it one more minute. Again, this will be posted on YouTube after this session for anybody who would like to view it afterwards. Um, and we'll be checking our voicemail and our emails and responding to any questions that arise. Oh, and I also want to mention the post-meeting survey. We are continuously looking for feedback on our public information meetings. So if you could please give us an evaluation on our survey, that'd be much appreciated. That is posted within the Zoom webinar chat as well as on our project webpage. Okay, well, with that, I would like to thank everybody who attended tonight's presentation. And I encourage, again, anybody to fill out this survey and let us know how we did. And have a good night. Thank you.